If you're new to backpacking or you're new to backpacking in the Eastern Sierra, you always want to be ready for cold and weather. It's only September 8th, and in a lot of places you go backpacking, it's probably in the 40s. It's 10 degrees colder up here than it was last week. And I talked to some people on the way out, and they said, it was cold. If you're camping out in the exposed areas, it's probably the wind chill is going to be down in the teens tonight. I have a Sub-Zero bag that I use in the winter. It's heavier, but I saw how cold it was. Being cold is no good. The reason my pack is so giant, I have layer upon layer of heavy stuff. I always leave the down. I don't even buy down stuff because if it gets wet, feathers don't do good with wet. I have a synthetic bag that'll still keep me warm if it even gets a little wet. Wool still keeps you warm if it gets wet. And it's easy to go backpacking 2 weeks ago up here and it only gets down in the 40s, 50s. It's going to be in the low 30s or 20s tonight. And if you have a sleeping bag that's rated down to like 20, you're going to be cold. So just always check the lows before you come up and you camp above 10,000 feet. Because you could be in for a long night. I've had some really long cold nights where I was not prepared, and you never forget those nights when you're sitting there in your sleeping bag and you're cold. Instead, I got my oversized mummy bag that can fit. I'm only 5'10". It can fit somebody that's up to 6'5". I could get in that thing with my boots on if I'm wet and I had to. But I'll be sitting in that thing. There's the first Monday Night Football tonight. I'll be listening to, once it gets dark, I should be able to listen to Raiders Denver in my bag with my beanie on, nice and toasty warm, and it should be a nice, comfortable night. But if I had the bag that I had 2 weeks ago, that was perfectly fine, I would be freezing tonight. Because it's just if it says that it's good down to 20, you don't want to have it down to 20. You want to have something that's down below freezing for sure. You want to have a bag that's rated down to 0 if you're going to come to into the Eastern Sierras. And you can bet in October it's going to be in the teens. And if you see that if it's not going to rain anymore, it's going to be snowing. So if you're new to backpacking above 10,000 feet, check the lows and make sure you have a reading on what it is, and make sure you have the proper gear. I have my long johns on now. I got this layer, t-shirt, long johns. I have another layer, and no matter how cold it gets, I'm ready to be comfortable. I got gloves. I got a ski hat. I got whatever I need. So that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that your sleeping bag is rated to handle the cold, and you want to make sure you have enough clothes to handle the cold. Because it can be very deceiving when you're hiking up and it's nice out. It's about 4:30 right now, and it's already down to about, I'd say, high 40s. At least in the shade. And if you're camping out in one of those rocky spots, like I was looking at pictures of people camping in Big Pine Lakes, and a lot of them are just camped right off the trail out the exposed rocks. And I mean, that wind, that's got to be freezing out there. I mean, they got the sun still, but once that goes down, it's gonna be freezing. So if you're new to the Eastern Sierras, just be prepared. Be prepared for the cold. I know it sounds obvious, but for most of my life, I only camped in the Western Sierras, and I never really camped above 8,000 feet or 7,000 feet. I always camped at lakes that were like 6,000, 7,000 feet. And it gets cold at night, but it doesn't get cold like it does above 10,000 feet. When you get up to like 11,000 feet and there's glaciers and stuff, you got to know it's going to be cold. So just be prepared for it. So that's just a bit of friendly advice. If you're new to backpacking and you're wondering what you should bring, just always check your lows. Find a website that gives you lows at the lakes. I looked at the lows here, and it said the lows were going to be high 20s, low 30s, and wind chill factors into the teens. So that's cold. Once you get into the teens down there, you can feel the atmosphere trying to penetrate your clothes and kill you. So you want to make sure you have enough clothes. All right, thank you. Hope that helped save somebody.